Hi, welcome to the kitchen. I wanted to use up some old bananas that have gone over the top, and I found a very simple recipe by Robert Carrier back in the mid-80s, and it's for a nice light banana bread. This is a simple little recipe and such a beautiful way to use up some things that we tend to throw away rather than find a way to use them. So have fun with this. Right, welcome to this morning's little session. It's actually quite hot in here today. It's 30 degrees in the kitchen already, and I've got the oven on, and it's about 27 degrees outside. So this is going to be short and quick. Today I'm just going to do a quick banana bread, basically. So some slightly overripe bananas. This is the sort of state you want to get them to. And then I've got 30 mils of yogurt, 200 grams of soft brown sugar, 150 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of wholemeal spelt flour here, but use just a wholemeal. Some butter, 200 grams of butter, 2 eggs, and a little bit of salt and a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda to go into the rest of it. So I've got my mixer here ready. So I'm going to basically put the butter and the sugar into the bowl. So I'm then going to start getting that going. And the other thing to get going in the bowl is the bananas. So I'm going to do this. And that can just peel that off, that can go in there. Use that box as a waste. So just see the trouble with bananas, especially in this weather, they do go off very, very quickly. I like bananas, but I do, when I put them on my cereals or whatever, I do like them slightly firmer than this. So this is a good way of using up overripe bananas. I'm going to be doing some bananas later for a barbecue. So if I get a chance, I will record those being put together as well. So yeah, a busy banana day or a banana Sunday. So this recipe, actually, I'll show you the book in a minute. It's actually from a series of books that were done back in the 50s, stroke 60s, I think it was. So yeah, this is the book that this comes from. So Cakes and Pastries, hopefully you can see that, and that's by Robert Carrier. Now, I don't know how many of you will remember the name Robert Carrier, but he was one of the first that sort of got involved with broadcasting and publishing recipes. And the date on this book, if I can find it, this is where I can't find it. What's the date on this? 1985, this one. So, and this was a republished, I think it was as well. So yeah, so sorry, forget the 50s and 60s, more these 70s and 80s. Let's do it. Let's get a bit more precise about it. But yeah, he was one of the first. So lightweight banana bread. I vary the recipe purely because it's fun to do so. So there we go. So we'll just start mashing this up. And the other thing I do add when I'm ready is I'll add a little bit of vanilla extract just to give it an extra sort of dimension to the flavor. So we'll get this going. I'm going to just put the yogurt in as well first. Spoon. In the background is the oven. I'll have to get that on early just to get that going. There we go. So there's all the yogurt here. So that can go in. We get this mixed up. Okay. It doesn't matter how far you go down, but you just make sure it's easier to mash bananas that have gone slightly overripe. So there we go. We've got that to the mix that we want now. So we've got the flours and we've got the eggs and the bicarbonate soda and the salt. Right, so I'm going to put the eggs in and just check the mixture, and it's on the way. So I'm just going to add the eggs and just making sure that they are clear of anything that we don't want going in. It's always worth separating the egg from the shell before you do anything with it, just to make sure that you don't have an off egg or an egg with a little bit of blood or something like that in it. Right then, so we've got to the point where I think you can probably pull this across just a little bit. So we've now got the mix here. So the mix is like this. I'm just going to scrape this around just to get it a little bit more mixed up. Make sure we get the full amount of sugar incorporated. I mean, one thing I didn't mention at the beginning was I've actually doubled the quantity of everything, purely because the single quantity is quite a small cake and this makes a good loaf. So I'm just going to pop these eggs in. Okay, so that's that done. And I'm going to pop this down now, so mind your ears. So I've got that mixing a bit more. Okay, so I've now got the mixture well mixed. I'm going to put just a little bit of vanilla extract in, just a few drops, something like that. So just probably just over a couple of mil, something like that. So that can now go in there. Okay. Right then, so that's that bit, just going another little mush round. So we're breaking it down a little bit more. And then the next thing to add is flour. And I'm just going to basically get these sifted through. Get these whizzed through. Add the white flour. Finally the salt and the bicarbonate soda. Give that push through. Anything that won't go through, we'll keep out. So there we go. So that's all the flour's done. So the next stage is to basically fold the flour into the butter and the egg mixture, alternately with the mash as well. So we're going to have to get to a process where we get this all off of here. Just clear that off. So that's all cleared. Right, so a couple of spoons. Okay, so we'll use that spatula later. So I'm just going to add a spoon of that. Get this mixed in. So you can see we've all got it's a very sort of thick batter. We're going to make it a little bit thicker by adding the flour. We just want to make sure it's all getting well incorporated. So that was light soft brown sugar, but if you wanted to use something a little bit darker, you're more than welcome to. So these recipes can bear a sort of switch of ingredients up to a point, but it's worth making double the quantity because then you can make a reasonably good sized loaf. So we add the banana, second spoon of banana, just get that mixed in. Add a bit more flour. Again, you can see it's going to thicken up a bit more. Get that incorporated. Okay. And then we just finish all this banana mixture off. I like making sure we've got everything out. Right, so there we go. There's that. Get that mixed in. All I can smell is banana. And a little bit of the flour. That mixed in. Right, so that's your mixture done. And now, what I prepared earlier was this 1.5 litre loaf tin. So that mixture is going to go in here, and then it's going to go into the oven at 170. And I'll check that in a minute. Right then, so welcome to the final part of this, which is basically just getting this mixture into the loaf tin. So you can see it's double the quantity, which is good because you do want a reasonable sized loaf out of it. And it wasn't supposed to go the wrong side of the tin there, but never mind. I'll rescue that in a minute. So we've pretty much got everything out of that. I'm just going to rescue this little bit here. So we just make sure it covers the base, the inside of the tin reasonably level. Just basic, get that done, get that back in there. There we go. So that is the loaf tin made. You can see it doesn't take long to do. So I'll just, right, back again. So I'm just going to open the oven. I've got a tray roughly in the middle of the oven. So a shelf there, and we'll pop that in, and that will go in now for about 1.25 hours, so 1 hour 15. So I'll just set my clock, 1 hour 15. Right, so that's now set, and we'll wait until that's ready. So we'll be back again shortly. Right, welcome back. I'm just going to go and get the banana bread out of the oven. So here we go. And as you can see, we've got a nice brown loaf there, and I'm just going to check with this wooden skewer that we've got nothing sticking to it. So as you can see, we're now clear. So that's the bread done. We just want to now leave that to cool down. So I'm just going to pop it over here. You can now have a look at it, and there we go. So that is, as you can see, that's quite a nice colour, a nice deep dark brown. I won't say golden, but a little bit richer on the corners. But otherwise, that is a perfectly good loaf. So we're going to leave that in there now until, yeah, that's quite warm. I'll leave that until that cools down, and we'll then move it. All right, so that's had a few minutes to cool down. I'm now going to just lift it out and put it onto a baking tray, give it a chance to cool outside of the hot tin. So I'm using what little extra I had in the way of paper on this side, on the outside. And there we go. So hopefully you can see, a bit difficult to show you, but there we go. You can see that's quite a good sized loaf. And a little slice, I mean, if you wanted to cover it with some icing, you can, or you could put some icing sugar on top, just dust it, or leave it as it is and just slice it. And it's perfectly good for a nice little snack, or to go with an afternoon tea, or just a slice to go with a cup of tea if you're feeling a bit peckish. So quite a useful way of using up some leftover or slightly overripe bananas, and very simple and quick to do. So that's my banana bread, thanks to Robert Carrier and his recipe book from 1985, I think it was. Not as early as I thought it was, but there we go. I hope he doesn't mind. Thank you, and enjoy making some banana bread. So after that session in the kitchen, here's my cake, ready with a cup of tea. Delicious.